A forgotten object resurfaces decades later, reopening a case everyone thought was buried. But what it reveals isn't just crime. It's the story of a heart that refused to stop grieving. A scream sliced through the morning market, then nothing but an odd, obedient silence. Tourists froze. Vendors dropped aprons. Someone shouted about a child's shoe on the cobbles. The sound that followed was not the echo of a crowd, but the low, distant rasp of an engine that hadn't run in 30 years. People assumed it was a prank, an exhausted rumor. But nobody knew what the ground or the mountain had been hiding. Missing shadows, every shadow has a story. Subscribe, don't play that tape again, Maya. Her mother's voice had said those same words 30 years ago. Soft, trembling, begging. But tonight, the old cassette was already spinning. The hiss filled her small New Jersey apartment, and a girl's voice, light off-key, sang Volare. Maya Rinaldi froze by the window, her coffee gone cold. The city outside glowed in flickering yellow, but her reflection looked stuck in another decade. The tape crackled again, and she smiled through tears. That voice was her sister's, the one who never came back from that school trip in 1993. She reached out to stop the player, fingers hovering, then pulled back. Silence felt heavier than sound. On the wall above her desk hung a faded photograph, a class of laughing students in matching red jackets. The teacher's arm raised mid-gesture, her sister mid-laugh. Maya had pinned a tiny note beneath it. Find them. The hum of her desk lamp mixed with the wind outside. On the table lay the things she couldn't let go of: her passport, a half-written manuscript titled The Vanishing Road, and a small stack of postage stamps she kept tapping with her thumb whenever anxiety crept in. That rhythm, soft, steady, was her heartbeat now. Maya had built her life around stories of loss. She was a journalist who told other people's tragedies, but never her own. Yet tonight, something restless stirred, the same ache that used to wake her at 3 a.m. when she swore she could still hear her sister's laugh echoing from a tunnel. The door buzzer broke the quiet. One short ring, then a pause. On her doorstep lay a plain envelope, no return address. Inside, a single photograph. A tunnel's dark mouth, mist curling at its edge, and scrawled in black ink, one number, 1993. Maya's breath caught. Her hand trembled. That was the year the mountains swallowed her sister whole. The morning had started like any other. Sun spilling over olive fields, laughter echoing through the narrow Italian streets. No one knew it would be the last day anyone saw them alive. The school bus gleamed yellow under the Puglia sky, polished for the end-of-year trip. Parents waved, cameras clicked, and students climbed aboard with backpacks bouncing. At the center of it all was Luca Santoro, the history teacher everyone adored, tall, patient, his voice the kind that made even ancient wars sound beautiful. He carried a thermos of coffee and a secret tiredness behind his eyes. Maya had been 20 then, standing beside her little sister Isabella, who was 16, restless, brilliant, always humming a tune. "I'll bring you something from the mountain," Isabella said, pressing her fingers into Maya's palm. "Maybe a rock that looks like a heart." Maya laughed. It was the last time she saw her. The driver, Enzo, adjusted his mirror and called, "Seatbelts, ragazzi." The engine rumbled. The bus rolled past the church, past the bakery, and turned toward the mountain road, a long, coiling stretch called La Strada di Nebbia, the road of fog. By noon, the sky had changed. Clouds gathered thick and fast, swallowing sunlight. Locals said the fog came earlier than usual that year, heavy, almost alive. At 12:43 p.m., a gas station attendant saw the bus idling by the pumps. He remembered the teacher leaning out the window, asking if the radio signal worked that high up. Then the bus pulled away and was never seen again. By nightfall, the town panicked. Police cars cut through the mist. Volunteers with flashlights searched ditches, calling names into the void. "I saw the bus," one farmer insisted. "It turned down the old service road, the one they closed after the rock slide." But when search teams followed, they found nothing but silence. The next morning, rain swept the valley clean. No tire tracks, no glass, no sound at the church. Candles lined the steps. Maya stood among the mothers, holding her sister's denim jacket. The scent of her perfume still clung to it. "They'll find them," someone whispered. But as the sun rose and the road lay empty, Maya realized something no one wanted to say out loud. The mountain had taken them and wasn't planning to give them back. The sound was what caught everyone first, a hollow, metallic clang that rolled through the valley like thunder. It came from the construction site outside Monte Brava, where workers were expanding a tourist parking lot. One man shouted, "Stop the drill," and the others froze. When the dust settled, they saw it yellow paint under layers of rock and mud. At first, they thought it was an old cargo truck. Then someone brushed away dirt and saw faded letters on the side. Scuola Regionale D. Bari-1993. The news spread faster than wildfire. Within hours, police blocked off the mountain road. Reporters arrived, cameras flashing, drones circling like flies. The air was thick with whispers. The missing bus, the children, after 30 years. The town that had forced itself to forget suddenly couldn't look away. In New Jersey, Maya Rinaldi woke to the ping of an email. The subject line read, "We found your bus." Her throat tightened. She opened it, one photograph, grainy but unmistakable. The tunnel mouth from the photo she'd received days earlier. But this time, floodlights glared against its edges. By evening, Maya was on a plane. Her reflection in the window looked like a ghost between clouds. For 30 years, she had imagined this moment, finding answers, finding peace. But the closer the plane got to Italy, the more she felt something was deeply wrong. When she reached the site, the air smelled of wet earth and fuel. Workers were silent, pale. The bus sat half buried in the rock, like a coffin unearthed too soon. Its windows were cracked, the doors sealed tight by time. A child's shoe lay in the dirt near the wheel, white, with a faded red striped dot inside. Investigators found a folded map on the dashboard. A circle drawn in pencil around the old service road, the same road the farmer had mentioned in '93. Beside it lay a cassette player, its tape snapped in half. Detective Paul Archer, older now, grey at the temples, stood beside Maya. "We always said the mountain kept its secrets," he murmured. Maya's eyes stayed on the bus, on the dark tunnel beyond it. "Not anymore," she whispered. What they found under that mountain wasn't just a bus. It was the beginning of everything they thought they'd buried. The next morning, the town of Monte Brava felt like it was holding its breath. Police tape fluttered in the wind, and the mountain's shadow stretched long over the excavation site. Forensics moved slowly, brushing away decades of dust. Every motion careful, reverent, almost as if the bus might wake up if they were too loud. Maya stood behind the barrier, notebook in hand. The smell of damp rock and gasoline clung to the air. She wasn't a reporter today. She was a sister standing at the mouth of her own nightmare. Detective Paul Archer joined her, adjusting his glasses. "They've sealed off the area," he said quietly. "But there's something strange." "What?" The door to the bus was welded shut from the outside. Maya's heart stuttered. "Welded," he nodded. "Someone didn't want it opened. Not by accident, not by time." Inside the tunnel, flashlights darted like fireflies. Technicians catalogued everything: a torn notebook page, bits of rusted jewelry. A child's watch stopped at 12:47 p.m. beneath one of the seats. An officer pulled out a small, folded photograph. Students laughing in front of the same bus, Luca Santoro at the center. The back read, June 9th, 1993. That date didn't match the official record. The trip had been scheduled for June 12th. Maya's pen froze. "Why change the date?" she whispered. Paul's jaw tightened. "Because someone didn't want anyone to know when they really left." Rumors spread fast about smuggling routes hidden in the mountain, about government trucks seen at night during the original search. One retired road worker swore he'd seen military equipment heading that way the week after the disappearance. The next day, he refused to talk again. Maya couldn't sleep. Every night, she replayed the old cassette on her phone, listening to the faint static between songs. Once, she thought she heard something, a man's voice, distant, saying "Stop the bus." Alina Marchetti, now grey-haired but sharp as ever, met Maya for coffee. "I worked in the registrar's office back then," she said. They erased Luca Santoro's employment record a week after the children vanished. Officially, he never existed. Maya leaned in. "Who signed the papers?" Alina hesitated, eyes lowering. "A name you won't like, Kara." Before she could say it, sirens wailed from the mountain. Workers had found something buried beneath the rear wheels, a rusted trunk welded to the bus frame. Inside lay a canvas bag, and within it, a ledger. Names, dates, all written in the same steady hand. At the bottom of the page was a single word. "Paid Paul," read it twice, his face pale. Who was paying, and for what? No one answered, but Maya already knew this wasn't just an accident. Someone had bought silence, and the mountain had kept the receipt. The ledger changed everything. Its pages were damp, the ink smudged but still legible. Each line listed a student's name, followed by a date and a column marked with neat initials. "E.M. Alina Marchetti," Maya whispered. Her pulse thudded in her ears. Paul frowned. "That can't be. She was a registrar, not what? Not part of this." Maya's voice cracked. "She sent me that email. Paul, we found your bus." They drove straight to her house. Alina opened the door before they could knock, blue scarf wrapped tight, eyes glassy. She didn't look surprised, just tired. "You found it, didn't you?" Maya held up the ledger. "You wrote these," Alina sighed, stepping aside. "Then you'd better come in." The living room smelled of dust and lavender. Old photos lined the mantel, students, field trips, smiling faces that now looked like ghosts. Alina sat slowly, her hands trembling. "I didn't forge those names," she said. "I archived them. The payments weren't money. They were signatures of consent." Paul leaned forward. "Consent for what?" Elena's eyes glistened. "For silence. After the disappearance, officials told us to file the students as relocated, transferred to a program up north. They said it was a cover to protect the investigation, but it wasn't." Maya's voice dropped. "You knew." I suspected, Alina whispered, and when I tried to ask questions, they threatened to ruin me. I thought if I buried the files, maybe the truth would stay buried too. Maya's throat burned. My sister was one of them. Elena's gaze softened. Yes, Isabella was special. Luca Santoro wanted to protect her. He found out the trip wasn't just a school outing. It was being used to move something. Or someone. Paul's pen slipped from his hand. You mean trafficking? Alina didn't answer. She reached into a drawer and pulled out a cassette tape, the same kind Maya had played her whole life. This was left at my office the day after the bus vanished. I never dared listen. Maya pressed play. The hiss filled the room. Then Luca's voice, urgent, frightened. If anyone finds this, don't believe the report. They made us turn off the radio. The driver isn't who you think. Static. A bang. A child's scream. The tape clicked off. The silence was deafening. Paul whispered the driver. Enzo. Alina nodded slowly. His real name wasn't Enzo. He was hired 2 days before the trip under a fake license. The real Enzo had died that same week. Maya felt the floor tilt beneath her. Everything she thought she knew, the driver, the accident, even the grief, was built on a lie. A knock rattled the door. Alina froze. On the doorstep lay a small package wrapped in brown paper. Maya opened it with shaking hands. Inside, her sister's missing cassette player, perfectly cleaned, still warm. As if someone had just placed it there. A note was taped to it. 5 words, written in precise, familiar handwriting. You weren't supposed to dig. Rain hammered against the windshield as Maya drove through the forest road, the same one her sister's bus had taken 32 years ago. The cassette player sat on the seat beside her, its red light blinking like a heartbeat. Paul shouted over the storm, "We should wait for backup." Maya's knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. No more waiting. Whoever sent that note wants me scared. I'm done being scared. The road narrowed into a dirt path, leading to the abandoned quarry. The place police once claimed was searched and cleared. But now, floodlights glowed faintly behind the mist. Someone was already there. She parked behind a rusted fence and stepped out, rain soaking her coat. Her flashlight beam cut through the darkness, landing on a familiar blue scarf fluttering from a tree branch. Alina's scarf. Inside the quarry pit, she saw her Alina, standing under a tarp, flanked by 2 men. One held a shovel, the other a gun. Alina. Maya's voice echoed, raw and trembling. Alina turned, pale and shaking. You shouldn't have come, Paul whispered. It's them. The people who buried it all. The gunman's voice sliced through the rain. You've done enough digging, Miss Torres. Time to stop. Maya stepped forward. Where's my sister? The man smirked. Ask your friend. Elena's knees buckled. Maya, I tried to protect her. They said if I kept quiet, they'd let the others go. You lied to me. Maya's voice cracked, grief spilling into fury. You let them vanish. Alina sobbed. I didn't know they'd killed Luca. The name hit her like a punch. Luca, the voice on the tape. Paul lunged as the gunman raised his weapon. The shot rang out, echoing through the pit. Sparks burst from the floodlight, chaos, screaming, mud flying. Maya grabbed the cassette player, slamming the play button. Luca's voice filled the quarry, carried by the storm. If anyone hears this, they buried them here. Under the old pit. Tell Maya the recording cut off. Everyone froze. Even the gunman lowered his weapon. Stunned, Maya's flashlight swept across the ground, catching the edge of something metallic, half buried in the mud. The roof of a bus, her sister's bus, and as the sirens wailed in the distance, Maya fell to her knees, rain mixing with tears, the past and present colliding at last. Morning sunlight broke through the mist as investigators swarmed the quarry. The earth that had held its secret for 3 decades now lay open, bones, metal, and memory unearthed. The bus was half collapsed, its frame rusted like a skeleton. Faded letters still read St. Helena's School Trip, 1993. Maya stood a few feet away, wrapped in a blanket. Her face was pale but steady. The ache behind her eyes felt ancient, older than grief, like she had finally found the ghost she'd been chasing her whole life. They found 13 remains inside. Among them was a small gold bracelet with a sun charm, her sister's. Maya turned it over in her hand, mud staining her fingertips. Paul approached quietly. They said Luca's voice led them to the tunnel logs. Turns out, the quarry was sealed the same week the school disappeared. She nodded. He tried to tell me, even back then. Reporters shouted from behind the barricade, hungry for a headline. But Maya said nothing. What was there left to say? The story wasn't just about loss. It was about how silence had become survival, about how love could haunt someone longer than guilt ever could. As the workers began pulling the bus from the earth, Maya closed her eyes. She could almost hear the laughter of children, the chatter, the music from that morning in 1993. It faded with the wind. She placed the bracelet in her coat pocket and whispered, "You can rest now." The rain had stopped, but the ground still shimmered, not with tragedy anymore, but with peace. The world would move on. The cameras would leave. But this place, this hollow in the mountain, would always carry the sound of missing shadows finding their way home. Some stories never end. They just sink deeper into the soil, waiting for someone brave enough to dig them up. The bus was only metal and dust, but what it carried was far heavier: guilt, love, silence, and time itself. Sometimes the past doesn't want justice. It only wants to be remembered. And maybe that's what keeps us searching, not for answers, but for the echoes of the people we couldn't save. Because in the end, it isn't the missing who haunt us. It's the moments we chose to forget. Missing shadows. Every shadow has a story. Subscribe.